Hello, and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we're reviewing A Saucerful of Secrets, a Pink Floyd second album released in 1968. It's alright. It's pretty much okay. Pretty much the same as their first album in terms of quality. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks I added to my playlist, only 3 out of the 7, which is technically just under half, although most of this album is taken up by the title track, A Saucerful of Secrets, an 11-minute instrumental on the B-side. I'm sure there's some people that probably like really love it, and probably think it's really great, but I didn't enjoy it that much. Overall, there's a few good things here, but mostly this album is in the same vein as their first. It's got a little bit of less early 60s pop and a little more psychedelia rock stuff, but I think they combine it a bit better here, so I think it works out a little bit better than their first album in some of the songs. But some of the songs are basically could be songs on their first album, in my opinion. There's not really a very big difference in between the two. There was no singles off of this album, and my favorite song here is probably the opening track, "Let There Be More Light." It starts out really great. Really love the beginning, how it starts out. But it doesn't exactly keep that energy throughout the whole song, but it's still pretty good. It doesn't really lose the the plot or anything. It just kind of slows down a little bit. But overall, the album is pretty good, but is pretty much very, very close to the first album. Now, technically, I rank this just under the first album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn. But it's really just because I think the 11-minute instrumental really brings the album down in terms of like flow, overall flow and quality. But really, these two albums are pretty much the same quality. Uh, They're basically pretty much the same. I put Piper at the Gates of Dawn just a hair over, and it's mostly because of the fact that 11 out of the 40 minutes, a fourth of A Saucerful of Secrets, is taken up by, basically an orchestral sort of thing, which isn't really memorable or interesting in any way. So in my opinion, of course. Obviously, you're entitled to your own. Uh, but Saucer Full of Secrets definitely doesn't take my top spot from 1968. That goes to the Beatles' self-titled White Album. Um, it's clearly a much better album, although it is a bit big and complicated because it's a double album, so it's got like 30 tracks on the main album. So that kind of complicates it. But the White Album is definitely much better than A Saucer Full of Secrets. Speaking of the Beatles, next up we have the Beatles' second to last album, Abbey Road. It's pretty great, although I don't think it's the best Beatles album. It's still definitely one of their better ones, certainly better than most of the stuff they did in their early years. So it's still really good, and so stay tuned for that and stay minty.